Hi, you guys. You should have received an email where I shared a document with you. You can go to your Outlook to check your email to see if the link is there, or you can just go to your Google Drive and go to your Shared with Me folder, and you should have a document from me. The document should have a number, VRA, and then it should have all of the people that were in your group. So if you were a group of just one person by yourself, it will just have your name. If you were a group of 2 or 3, it'll have all of your team's names there in that document. The document is shared between me and then anyone else in your group that's working on your project with you. So I'm going to give you a quick overview of what you're going to do in this document and how it's going to help you finish out the rest of your project. First of all, you have 3 different weeks of information here. If you're in first or third period, then you might have different dates. So if you want to go in and edit the dates so that they are kind of pushed back 1 week from what you had before, your dates should be this coming week of March 30th through April 3rd, the following week of April 6th through the 10th, and then the week of April 13th through the 17th. So this week, we're just going to go over the blue box for the information that you have right here. I went through and copied all of the information that you guys had in your task card or in checkpoint 2 into this document. So I used the person whose last name came first in the alphabet and copied over their information for them. So as you keep working, you're going to continue working in your group, and each group member is going to update the chart for the ad that they designed and they created. Or if you brainstormed all together, then you guys can just divide up and say, I'll do ad number 1, you do ad number 2, you do ad number 3, and kind of divide it up amongst yourselves that way. So moving on the second page, on page 2, that's where you're going to make sure that you have all of your information complete, starting on page 2. So in this information, this box was what you completed before you started brainstorming your ad. You want to make sure that each of these 3 boxes is complete because this is going to help you as you finish your project. First of all, you need to make sure that you have your theme of your ad campaign designated in this box. So your 3 advertisements are all working to communicate the same theme, the same central idea. So what central idea are you trying to communicate about this topic that you came up with? Secondly, what is the context of your ad campaign? So remember, there's something happening in the world that you felt like we wanted to create awareness or bring awareness to this topic, or we wanted to advertise this product. So what context is happening that you felt like made a need for your advertisement? This box is going to help you whenever you have to write your introduction and your conclusion paragraphs later. So you want to make sure that you have a clear, complete context provided here to make it easier for yourself later. On the following pages, you're going to have 3 charts that look like this chart, one for each of your advertisements. If you turned in your picture already, then I pasted a copy of your picture here. If you did not turn in your ad images, then you do not have a picture and you will be responsible for pasting in a copy of your image. Each group member is going to be responsible for one chart. So you're going to put the name of the person who's responsible for this chart right here. When I look at the edit history, I can do file, version history, and I can see here all of the edits that are made in this document. So let's say that Susie is responsible for this ad. I should see that Susie has filled in all the information for this advertisement. That's how I'm going to make sure that you are being responsible for the work that you were supposed to be responsible for. These columns here, I added in a little bit more information so that you could remember what specifically needed to go in each of these columns. And you can also see that it's attached to a specific cognitive skill, these 2 columns. So this is how I'm going to be assessing your cognitive skills based on your information from this chart, which I'll talk more about later. The message of this ad, you can include what your ad specifically says or its intended message. What is the message of this specific ad? This should not be word for word the same as your theme. Your theme is overall, your overall big main message that all of your ads are communicating. So what is the smaller kind of subclaim that you're creating in this advertisement here? In the speaker row, what company or organization is putting out this advertisement? So here is where you can Google some organizations or some companies that might be putting out this advertisement, or you can come up with your own company, your own organization. A lot of people came up with clever names, or they just used their initials and said, this is the JAK organization. So you can do something like that, or you can Google an actual company, an actual organization that already exists. Here's where you would put your evidence. So if you say it's from this organization, how do we know? What should we see on your ad that proves it? And then why do you think that organization is a good organization that would be putting out that advertisement? Your intended audience should be a specific. I saw as I was copying and pasting, a lot of people said that the audience was everyone. Okay, well, babies, people that are in their 90s, people that are 13, people that are 27. Like, if you say everyone, it should truly appeal to everyone. So think of your intended audience as kind of like an age range or a group of people. So is there a certain victim group or a certain race of people or a certain age group of people or a certain type of person, like a parent or a student or teachers or medical professionals? So think about who specifically you're targeting with that. What's the evidence in that ad? And then why are you targeting that specific group of people? For your rhetorical devices, remember you should have 2 rhetorical devices. You can repeat rhetorical devices, but you shouldn't use color theory, rule of thirds, color theory, rule of thirds, color theory, rule of thirds on all 3 ads. Okay? If you need help with rhetorical devices, on my website, I have this image here. So in checkpoint 1, there's this resource that I wrote in green, and it talks about these red rhetorical devices. In checkpoint 1, there's this second resource, and it talks about these orange rhetorical devices. And then you have your rhetorical devices syntactical terms focus area that, in addition to some of these that are already listed, also talk about these that are in blue. Okay, so if you want to just use this chart and you're like, oh yeah, I remember what parallelism is. We did use that on our ad. I can talk about that. Or if you need to go back to those resources to see more information, you can do that. Your appeal is which appeal did your ad primarily use. Primary means your main appeal. So if you use logos and pathos, which one is your primary appeal? And again, on my website on appeals, on the focus area tabs, you can look at the chart to see which appeal that you feel like you used. Again, your evidence from the ad and why you did that. Word choice is where you're going to focus on one specific word on your advertisement. So of all the words there, one word that you feel like is the most important word. So you'll put that one word here. Here you can put the whole phrase from your advertisement, and then here you're going to explain that word, the importance of that word, the meaning of that word. And I have some more information about that coming too. The last box is the theme box. So again, thinking about your theme that you put here, how does the message of this specific ad and then all of this that you designed with this advertisement, how does that help to communicate your overall theme? So you're connecting this advertisement back to your main theme, your main central idea. Okay, so that's what you're going to do during this week is you're going to make sure that you have all of that information listed here in your chart.